Good night, guys. A great night to all who tuned into Progress Report with the realest thing coming out of Guyana. We got a lot of things to discuss. What is interesting is the fact that um, the budget 380 plus $billion. It's somewhere around 383 billion Guyana dollars. 40 billion bigger than last year, 40 billion more than last year. So Guyanese could look forward or should look forward to things. The PPP has to now show that is not only promises and yet again they will deliver for 2020. They've shown um, they could deliver for 2020, but they got to show me 2021. You know, when it comes to politicians and politics, you always have to need something because no matter what, mountain days get a pay. Don't get up in your feelings to them. We got some discussions. Um, I want to look at this thing. I find this thing funny. I find this video very funny.
This is what I want to say to y'all. We waiting on GCOM to declare, right? Yeah. But we know what the numbers saying, right? Yeah. And so until we see GCOM declare, we got to do what we got to do.
Stay focused!
Stay focused and we partying until it comes true. Yeah. Alright? Because we know what it got to say. And we know what it will say because we know what we did. Yeah. Alright? This is what I want to say to y'all. We waiting on GCOM to declare, right? Yeah. But we know what the numbers saying, right? Yeah. And so until we see GCOM declare, we got to do what we got to do.
Stay focused!
Stay focused and we partying until it comes true. Yeah. Alright? Because we know what it got to say. And we know what it will say because we know what we did. Yeah. Alright? This is what I want to say to y'all. We waiting on GCOM to declare, right? Yeah. But we know what the numbers saying, right? Yeah. And so until we see GCOM declare, we got to do what we got to do.
Stay focused!
Stay focused and we partying until it comes true. Yeah. Alright? Because we know what it got to say. And we know what it will say because we know what we did. Yeah. Alright? This is what I want to say to y'all. We waiting on GCOM to declare, right? Yeah. But we know what the numbers saying, right? Yeah. And so until we see GCOM declare, we got to
is the boat that was found in the Caribbean Sea and was brought in by the Nicaraguan authorities. Nicaragua is just, top side of Panama. Like when you're heading, you pass Venezuela, you're going up the little curb, the Bering Strait, I think we call it Bering Strait or something like that. Right? Nicaragua is there. So a boat was found in the Caribbean Sea. Now, just for clarity, it is not the same boat, and I said it this morning. The boat that was seen in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Guyana, some 100 nautical miles. Thanks, son. Bring oh Jesus, who's this? It's okay, the coffee is. Some kind of thing I don't know. No, man. No, man. This coffee never. This is not. You got coffee in bottle? Oh, yeah. This is the This is the coffee that just got brewed. Look, the hot water just got fire, strain the thing. See if you find a strainer, strain them. No man make coffee. You know oh Jesus, we love him. Yeah. So Jesus Christ. Imagine there was something wrong with the thing. Yeah. So the boat. Now I don't know if the opposition leader has his suspicion about this other boat. But I know the opposition leader is turned up just with some sus. By the way, before I forget, me and the opposition leader had a short talk today. I went to cover the opposition leader and the members of the opposition protesting in front of GCOM. I didn't know why they were protesting, but I went to cover that. And they were already finished when I went there, right? So I spoke to the opposition leader and he told me, man, them people tell me that you're calling them low life and hungry belly. Now, while I was explaining to him, his people, he said his people. So I don't know who his people is. And if most of his people consider themselves to be low life and hungry belly. But I thought about it, and this is the opposition leader talking to somebody who has, and I'm looking at it from a third party perspective, right? Who has considerable influence when it comes to Guyanese perception and what they think and what they see and what they say. Children look at me, you know, people fashion their lives and listen to me carefully to make daily decisions. So I considered what the opposition leader was saying, and I said when I used, I ain't tell you what I'm gonna do, but the thing is when I use the term low life and hungry belly, it must be aware that it's not to deal with a race, it deals with an attitude. Attitude is which you would have seen today, you understand, it can be considered to be nothing else but low life and hungry belly attitude in parliament. Right? So you gotta look at that. Low life, hungry belly attitude in parliament today. It was real. Please bring the earphone for me, Paul. Earphones. So I'm going to show you. Because I'm thinking, what word can I replace low life and hungry belly with to be able to address people and say this is what the people is the attitude? So, you know, I have taken into consideration what the opposition leader has said and has brought to my attention. And his words were, "Mommy, people tell me you call him low life and hungry belly." You understand? And in fear, I told him, I said, it's fear that you bring it to my attention, you brought it to my attention, it's been brought to the attention of the National Parliament. I don't know where the opposition leader was when that was brought to the Parliament. Will you restrain it? Thank you, son. So this was the behavior today in Parliament of the opposition MPs. One of them. When he put on in the past. When he go down in the past and check, he realized, you know, he then when he find and he hear this morning, I say, watch, you got to grow some balls. He realized this is not balls, it's goody. I guess when he unloaded the 6 of them guy one time. You understand? He unloaded goody for them. Or he must be thinking, since I find my balls, I don't want the goody because there's a goody. There's a wait in parliament. Right away after, thing approved and everybody happy. They clapping and hollering like it's church day there. Right? So they had an accident today. I don't right? Situation, but the reality. You just sit down with your husband, you're not gonna say, man, you know, take your time, honey. New car, big excitement to the two of them. He start flight to show she that he could be a pilot. They now get a car, but he telling she, well, I could be a pilot. It's a sad situation there, condolences to the family, but it's the reality, is bullshit they depot. You understand? Hi. Yeah. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, I see. It's confusion in here too. The man can't even tell me about the problem while I show in the parliament thing. While I show the accident video in the parliament, audio playing is confusion here. If parliament is got confusion, why I can't get confusion on it? What's this face? This look like confusion? What's this face? Eh? Doesn't look like confusion? So the boat that was found in Nicaragua, I didn't have an opportunity to ask the opposition leader if he have any suspicions about the boat that was found in the Caribbean Sea and taken into um, Nicaragua. But the boats are different. You see the back, this one is green. You see the one is gray and white. And the boats are the same nature in terms of dimensions. If you look at them, different colors. So boats might have been going, might be more than one boat, wherever they're coming from. Because we're missing 2 boats. Guyana missing 1 boat, Guyana missing nobody. Opposition leader say he has his suspicions. You understand? He might be suspicious for life, for all you know. I know Ganesh should confirm the opposition leader's suspension because Ganesh don't make suspicions. Ganesh don't make joke. Right? So we got the boat issue. And then we got this issue with this girl here.
This is what I want to say to you all. We waiting on GCOM to declare, right? But we know what the numbers saying, right? And so until we see GCOM declare, we got to do what we got to do.
Stay focused!
Stay focused and we partying until it comes true. Alright? Because we know what it got to say. And we know what it will say because we know what we did. Alright? This is what I want to say to you all. We waiting on GCOM to declare, right? But we know what the numbers saying, right? And so until we see GCOM declare, we got to do what we got to do.
Stay focused!
Stay focused and we partying until it comes true. Alright? Because we know what it got to say. And we know what it will say because we know what we did. Alright? This is what
we did. Where exactly she did? We know what we did. How does that, we worked hard to win. That could be said. This woman is supposed to be qualified. And I don't know how these people could be so loose with the speech. We know what we did. What did we do? What did you do, ma'am? Now here we're saying, we're watching. This is a member of parliament. Paul, please bring the radio upstairs to me. Good evening, sir.
Critic,
Yes, my brother.
what are you doing, man? You lying to people on TV now, live TV?
What happened?
I watching you live, or you did live earlier.
What happened? What happened?
No, which one, you lying now, or you
I'm live now. I'm live now. Yeah.
So you lying to the people, are you telling people that someone eat the food and a whole lot of things?
What you talking about? That's an old story, buddy. Hold on, I'm going to hold. I call you back in 2 minutes. I'm going to hook up the radio. I want to talk to you about what happened today in Parliament.
Alright, good,
See.
good. You
Bring.
want me to call you back, or you gonna
I can call you back. Watch. You gotta help that there. Get the plug up thing and plug up this radio here. The white thing with all the points inside. Plug it at the back there. Plug in the radio here. And let me get this phone from Wi-Fi. She wants to lie to people about you with the food. Man, what lie is that? You never see a picture Chuma with 3 bags of food hugging it up so like it's a baby. What's laugh at me? I can ask you. So wasn't it you with those 3 bags of food? You see an old video, you know all up in the feelings. You gotta pull out one. Preferably the laptop on the top one. Then put it in there. Put it in there. Yeah, so we will have the Deputy Speaker of the House online just now. Now, women ask about these people. What I want to know is if you're lying and deceiving people all the time, has your modus operandi changed? Your mode changed? You're known for lying to people, right? These people are known for lying and misleading their followers. So has anything changed in your modus operandi? How can people believe what you say? That's all I ask him. Me want to beat up too hard, Puncher. Yes, sir. So let me go to, let me call back Shuman. Shuman say, Lambini, who is this? Deputy Speaker of the House. Deputy Speaker of the House say, Lambini. Y'all hear me loud and clear now? Hey, y'all hear me loud and clear? Who is this? Let me call back this man.
Mr. Critic.
Good night, Deputy Speaker Shuman. Here now. Here I tell you. You say I lie for you. Mr. Lennox Shuman, were you the individual the photograph hugging 3 bags of food like was a baby?
Am I what?
Remember, you know what I'm talking about. After,
No, I don't.
remember somebody did y'all do a joke at conference center when you hug the 3 bags of food. The boys give you the food for keep and somebody take it out and blow it out of proportion.
Critic, the issue with that, right, is when we were in the conference center counting ballots and all those things, one of the PNC folks said that these guys should only eat as much food as they get votes. And I distinctly remember that day that on one of the voting stations, I got 3 votes, but I only had 1 meal. And then I asked Mark Defense and I think it was Keon Jabour. I said, guys, give me your food boxes since we're all done eating and I'll take a picture. Because today we got 3 votes and then we could take a picture of it.
No,
those things.
I know all of that. I know it was a joke that was taken out of context. But you gotta listen to the whole video and here is what it's talking about. But on another note, to serious business. Were you present in the National Assembly today?
All day.
Were you present in the National Assembly yesterday?
All day today, yes.
Tell me a bit about your take and your position on accusations by an opposition MP that Minister McCoy assaulted her.
Well, here is the interesting thing, right? During the elections last year, they lost. We went through 5 arduous months of trying to confirm that they would have lost. When they tried to rig, not the elections, they tried to rig the results. And after that, Parliament finally convened and everything else, they voted against, and I will say that they voted against $880 million in development fund for indigenous peoples. So we stood firmly against that. Then we roll into 2021, and on the eve of their attempted rigging of the elections results, they could not bear it. The fact that the budget provided a vision for Guyana and provided an inclusive vision for everyone. So they wanted to do every single thing that they could to disrupt that process. So what we saw in, let's just start from yesterday. They lost the conversation on the economy. They lost the conversation on finance. They lost the conversation on policy. They lost the conversation on law. They lost the conversation on indigenous representation. They could not even revert to their baser instincts. And we saw that through their entire budget presentation when they're talking about, you know, you're not doing anything for black people, black people. Look, the budget does not say whether you're black, white, Amerindian, East Indian, or anything, Chinese or anything. The budget speaks about Guyana. So how now are you going to inject race in the budget? The only people that should be represented to that extent should be the most marginalized peoples in this country, which are the indigenous peoples. So when they would have lost all of the arguments on those things, they reverted to race in their budget presentation. And when their idea of race was demolished and destroyed through all of the budget presentation, then now they invented something on the eve, pretty much before preempting International Women's Day, that one of the male parliamentarians from the governing side assaulted a female parliamentarian from the opposition side. That is totally preposterous. Totally preposterous. And if you look at the events as they presented themselves, or as the PNP presented it, is that they first started to say that Mr. Kwame McCoy verbally assaulted Ms. Sarabo Haley. And then before long, give it half an hour later, and then that verbal assault turned into a physical assault.
Sarabo Haley.
So the incompetence, critic, the incompetence in these people is that they do not even have the competence to tell a good lie. They don't have the competence to tell a good lie. So how now do you find the competence in them to want to be an objective and realistic opposition? How do you find the competence in them to want to even garner a single vote going forward? I would have expected a lot more stability and a lot more dignity in my younger colleagues. But they have obviously reverted to mediocrity and juvenile representation in Parliament. And it is a gross disappointment to the people that voted for them. I am sadly disappointed. I would have expected a caliber that is more deserving of the times, but that is not what is being presented.
Thanks for your take on that, Mr. Schuman. And let me just remind the viewers that Lennox Schuman is the Deputy Speaker of the House and was the presidential candidate for the Liberty and Justice Party, which now holds an opposition seat in Parliament. The ruling party, People's Progressive Party, has chosen to ensure that Lennox Schuman is Deputy Speaker of the House. I think it's by voting, right, Lennox?
Correct.
by a vote, and that is to show inclusion, right? So, moving on to today's issues, a decision was made to remove 6 members of parliament, parliamentarians from the House. Can you give us a rundown of what transpired and led to that?
Critic, yesterday, the major opposition, myself excluded, came in and made an accusation in the House, and they wanted the Honourable Minister Kwame McCoy removed from Parliament. That in itself caused some chaos, and rightly so. There are components in the standing orders for how you bring petitions, and what they should have done is brought a petition to the National Assembly. The petition has a due process that has to be addressed before any action can be taken amongst a variety of things, inclusive of the Parliamentary Management Committee, any of the other committees. It determines how parliamentarians conduct themselves. But what they wanted to simply do is to completely take all of the standing orders and holistically throw it out the window and say, look, we don't care what the standing order says, even though the standing orders are there to ensure stability and compliance to processes. They wanted to take all of these standing orders and literally throw it in the toilet, throw it in the garbage bin.
No, but
and say, we don't care about that. We want what we want, and we are going to get what we want regardless of what it is.
Lennox, is it a surprise?
Even outside of that, let me finish. Even outside of that, there was nothing of due process that would have been even addressed at a mediocre level. No one ever even bothered to go to the police and say, look, Honorable, and this would have been my position as a reasonable person. Honorable Mr. Speaker, we have 2 accusations in this House right now. We have an accusation by our member, Ms. Halley, and we have, and is being made against the Honorable Member, Mr. McCoy. What we would like for them to do is for both of them to be suspended or maybe removed from the chamber to permit an independent investigation into these things to go forward. Thus, you would have had objectivity. But the critic is like, if I come and I accuse you of thieving my pencil, right? And when the police shows up, I said, no, kill he, without an investigation going on or being undertaken. That in itself denies every single Guyanese their basic rights to due process. And what they wanted to do was to completely bypass and circumvent that issue of due process. They wanted to do that. All they wanted was to disrupt the passage, literally disrupt the passage of the budget.
Were you surprised, Mr. Schuman, were you surprised by their attempts to usurp due process in light of the fact that you, of all persons, have had 12 months experience with these people up close and personal, and a lot of experience from since December 21st, 2018, when there was a no confidence motion brought against them?
I would have expected that at this point, we are literally 1 year anniversary to when Mr. Clement Mingo and some other characters attempted to rig the election results. We all know that. 1 year. We would have expected that the declaration, the subsequent investigations and court processes and everything else would have brought them to some degree of sanity. Some degree, even an iota of sanity. But in 1 year, they have shown their capacity, or lack thereof, for growth. They have zero capacity for growth. That is why we are in this position. I would have expected, seeing some new faces in Parliament, that they would have been in a position to say, look, we have matured, we are going to hold you accountable, we're going to find a way forward. But they are not, and I will say this unapologetically and equivocally, they are not interested in the growth of Guyana. What they are interested in is relevant. They have lost every single thing else. They've lost the political clout, the economical analysis, finances, you name it. They've lost every single thing. They've lost the people in themselves. So what they are struggling for right now is relevance in this country. And it is unfortunate that they have to bring themselves to this point because the taxpayers in themselves that are paying them is being denied, or they are being denied what they basically they're not getting value for their money because the opposition was meant to keep the government in check. And the fact that they have underperformed or not performed at all means that the government, that the country's business now has no degree of scrutiny. We know that the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament is the final stop. But when you have someone like Mr. Patterson on there who would have taken $2+ million in gold bracelets and what else, how now do you go there with any degree of substance or integrity and say, look, this is what is happening at this level? You cannot. And this is the degree that the opposition has descended to. It is unfortunate, and I will apologize to every single person that would have voted in this country and voted for them. I would apologize even to the people that did not vote for them, that would have expected that they would have held the people that they voted for accountable. It is unfortunate, and I'm so sorry for and to our future generations for that.
Mr. Schuman, you are, although you're the Deputy Speaker of the House, you are nonetheless opposition. Have you started looking at the possibilities of capitalizing on the shortcomings? Because so far, I think you've been doing fairly well in how you present yourself. More and more Guyanese are growing to respect you. You are, for the most part, the leading representative of the indigenous people in this country in Parliament. And have you started to look at the possibilities of taking up more slack where the now PNC-led opposition is leaving big or creating a vacuum for the people they represent?
Critic, I appreciate your question, and I understand that this is one thing that myself and my colleagues in ANOG and TNL have been talking about. But I want to draw your attention back to something, right? And let me use an analogy that I think is apt for this instance. Excuse me. When you run international cricket, sorry, it's a bit dry in here. When you run international cricket, when you run international football at the World Cup level, every country sits there and say, how could we make our team the best team and win the championship for our country? I am sitting in a position right now that I aim to build Guyana, not to destroy it. And I intend on contributing to Guyana, whether it is in the government or in the opposition or wherever, to build this country and to ensure that our future generations have a country that they can be proud of. Whatever capacity that is, I fully intend on developing and cultivating an environment that is progressive. Whether it is to capitalize on the opposition's position, I don't see that as beneficial, and I don't want to lock arms with the opposition in their illogical and irresponsible position at this point.
Well, maybe
there's no benefit to the country in the position that they're taking.
No.
And even if I decided that I want to go there and sit and question the government on their policies and all of these things, I simply do not have the machinery behind me to be able to do that. So what I can do is to construct or to constructively address policy deficiencies by meaningful interventions. If I have to sit there and talk to the Attorney General, and I take you back to this example, when we talked about the Law Reform Commission, I spoke to the Attorney General and I spoke to the Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, and I said, look, Indigenous peoples are not represented significantly in this piece of legislation. Can we address it to have the National Crucial Council included on there? They said, look, let's sit and talk on it. Let's have a consideration on it. Let's have some discussions on it. And we
Is I calling Schumann or Schumann calling me? Me credit done? What rant is this? Schumann, you got call back, bro. You don't understand what we're doing. You mean I walked through 30,000 all in 3 days? Whoa. Wow, wow, wow. Credit's done. Yes, sorry about that, buddy.
Critic,
Yeah.
this is what happens when you don't have credit, you know. When you call me, you have to have credit.
My apologies, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue.
So we have an opportunity, and look, the reality is, right? You have more chances of catching more bees with honey than with vinegar. I have 1.5 years to make going forward, right? I mean, 2.5 years collectively, but 1.5 years going forward, the way I look at it right now, to make the most impact for all of Guyana. And I will do every single thing that I can, logically, and with a great degree of sanity, humility, to ensure that the people of Guyana are represented in my 1.5 years. My 1.5 years cannot be 1.5 years of irresponsibility, negligence, and juvenile presentation in Parliament. I have to come to Parliament with some degree of substance. So I have to ensure that when I am sitting there, critic, that I find ways to do the things and do them as effectively as I possibly can, because when it is not about me winning, I will make this very clear, it's not about me winning, it is about Guyana winning. I did not give up my citizenship, my job, my everything else to come to Guyana because I have a self-interest. I came here because I want to see Guyana on a different path. And I think the Vice President in himself, the Honorable Dr. Bayachaki, would have stepped back to the GCCI, the Georgian Chamber of Commerce, 2 nights ago, that we have to up our game, if not, we'll be left behind. And what I have done is upped my game. It is now for the opposition, my colleagues in the opposition, to up their game in lockstep to ensure that the Guyana moves forward.
I just received message. Somebody messaged me and told me you were threatened recently.
Absolutely.
Can you speak to that?
I was at 11:13 today. I was sitting in my seat where I usually sit in Parliament, and Mr. Viceroy Jordan came by and casually said, "Schumann, how are you doing, bye?" I said, I'm doing fine." He said, "You continue with low until you had a good licking yet." I said, "What? By who?" He said, "You just wait, you will see."
But Schumann, you could have answered him.
That in itself, critic, that in itself shows the degree that they are willing to descend to threaten parliamentarians with violence. I mean, the false accusations against Mr. McCoy is but something passing. They're trying to create anything they could. But you don't go to Parliament and threaten another parliamentarian. I don't go there and pick fights with people. I don't go there and call names of people except now, because that is a legitimate threat. I brought it to the attention of the Speaker of the National Assembly. I brought it to the attention of the Chief Whip, Mr. Christopher Jones. I brought it to the attention of the clerk, and I brought it to the attention of the police and the public.
Well, Schumann, I don't think Christopher Jones, the Chief Whip, would be of any help to you, because he himself has been suspended from Parliament. It seems that the opposition is imploding, or the main opposition.
I don't really want to venture too far, onto that, but my position, critic, is that these things do not belong in Parliament. You cannot go into Parliament and threaten one of your colleagues, a parliamentarian. You cannot go even outside in public. It is against the law. There are certain degrees of immunity that are afforded parliamentarians and what they say in the chamber, but those immunities do not exist for criminal or chargeable offenses. So the minute you utter a threat to someone, that is a chargeable offense. But if I were to say, you know what, I have heard, and let me bring this very clear, right? I can't go in there and accuse anyone in Parliament who will not be afforded the opportunity to defend themselves. For example, I can't go in there and say, Mr. Mikel Rodriguez, would have done this, and this, because you're not permitted in Parliament chamber. You cannot defend yourself. But what I can do is go into Parliament and say there are certain citizens in this country who would have done these things and cannot, whatever, right? So I have to be very crafty in how I word things in Parliament. And that is where parliamentary immunity comes in. So when Mr. Viceroy Jordan threatens me, that in itself is a criminal offense. At least I wouldn't say criminal, I'd say it's a chargeable offense. And I want to hope that the police in themselves take that seriously, takes it on board and investigates. I know it's going to be hearsay in their books because there is no one around me. When you look at it, I've got Guyanese Critic, I've got young Mr. Holder, I've got Mr. Steers, and a few other people around me. And none of them would corroborate my story because it means that their member would be seen in a bad light. So it is unfortunate for me sitting alone in that side of the house. Very unfortunate. It is situations like those that permit some of these criminal or chargeable offenses to go unchecked. Any one of them in that corner could threaten me because I have no one there to listen and to pretty much corroborate my story. Then now they could get away with a lot of things. That is why I was moved further up in the bleachers to be able to sit there away from them so that we don't have to have that kind of interaction.
Mr. Schuman, in light of what is going on in Parliament, parliamentarians might soon have to be wearing body cams.
Critic, I hope that we don't have to descend to that. I think that I want to hope, and I call on my colleagues at least sitting in our side of the benches, to at least get some maturity. Look, you've lost the elections. The elections are squarely behind us. A year you tried to rig the elections and the results for. Well, the rigging started with the unilateral appointment of partisan and all that stuff. We've gone by that. We've gone by the 5 months of struggle. We're coming up to 1 year. Actually, we're at 1 year anniversary of the people voting you off. Find a way to rebuild. Rebuild with some degree of integrity, even if it is 10, 15, 20, 30 years in the wilderness. Rebuild on solid foundation. Don't rebuild on this shaky
Deputy Speaker Schuman.
Foundations you have.
Deputy Speaker Schuman, I must ask, what statistics do you have to suggest 10, 15, 20, 30 years? We wouldn't even be around when the opposition would be coming back to power.
Critic, you used to watch Chinese movies, right? You ever heard of a character named Faime?
Faime, yeah.
Faime, right. That is who I will be when I am at that age. 20, 30 years from now, I will be the Faime of Guyana, or one of them anyway. I'm stroking my little gray beard and watching back to these people and imparting wisdom on. 30 years from now, we may not be around, but guess what? It does not mean that the ground that we lay right now will not be solid enough for our children to stand on. And we have an obligation to our future generations to ensure that what we do now is to lay a path for them to be better and more successful in the future, not to deal with political hegemony. That is the reality where we are. I did not become the president of Guyana. The Liberty and Justice Party did not win a majority of seats. So I have to subscribe to what is there today, and I have to find a way to work with whoever, opposition, government, wherever I can, to build this country. If I'm not working to build, if my hands are not being used to build, then my hands are being used to destroy. And that, unfortunately, is where my colleagues in the opposition are at right now. They're not working to build, they're working to destroy that.
Lennox Schuman, lastly but not least, I came across a photograph of yourself and Ganesh Maipal, MP Ganesh Maipal, having a light moment. It was on the parliamentary page. Please explain what was going on there.
You know, if you look back at the pictures in Parliament, I am arguably one of the least photographed people in Parliament. Look back at it. You'll have opposition members, you'll have government members. They get photographed a lot. I don't know. Maybe that is just my bad luck.
Okay.
But this morning, I saw the photographer snapping pictures of everyone else, and I said to Mr. Mindful, I said, Ganesh, what's going on? These guys are snapping pictures of everyone else. Well, me, what? I don't have friends too? Is it because they're not caught in a picture talking to anyone else? That's why they don't want to photograph me? I said, and then he said, hey, photographer, come take a picture of me and Schumann. And then we said, look, let's make it interesting. So we started laughing. He said, look, let me look like me arguing really, really hot, right? Really arguing, pointing fingers and stuff. And that is how the photographer captured us.
Cool.
But we were just having a light moment.
Light moment.
Literally, just a light moment. It's not arguing or anything. We're just having some fun because the reality is, even though I'm in Parliament, the photographs in themselves sometimes don't reflect that I am there, which is unfortunate. I don't know if it is by design or however it is. But I would say that I'm arguably one of the least photographed persons that you would find on parliamentary days.
Fair. I want to, in us parting tonight, Lennox, I want to thank you for the representation that you have presented in Parliament of the Guyanese people. I would say you have brought good representation of the indigenous people to the Parliament of Guyana. I will also say you bring some level of sanity and balance in the way you deal with things, not hastily, not always in a ruckus. And so there's still some bit of balance in the opposition. I want to thank you for being you, because I can't say I've known you to be different before holding this position as Speaker in the House and you know, the role you play now. So, being the Guyanese critic, the man who is responsible for passing on the word of the lower people or the citizens of the country to those who run the country, I want to thank you for your good works so far. And I want to assure you, Mr. Schumann, in the event you are maybe led astray or stray away from what you promised the people, the Guyanese critic is here, and I still have Mr. Jamo.
Critic, I hope you're not taking the position of the young Mr. Vince Roy Jordan.
No.
But I know you better than that. Let me say thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you continue to be real. You continue to bring the Guyanese public up to speed on some of the happenings in Guyana. And it is people like yourself, amongst many others, who will continue to hold not only myself, but all of the politicians in Guyana accountable. Some of us, well, I wouldn't say some of us, but I think a lot of people would sit there and look at things with a very suspicious eye. But in reality, we have an obligation to the people. And if it takes, or whatever it takes, we have to ensure that there is a mechanism, whether it is the media, whether it is, well, civil society is somewhat dead, and they've been dead since prior to elections. So we have to find a way to reinvent civil society, right? So you can't sit there with any meaningful eye and say, man, civil society exists in Guyana. The reality is it doesn't. So we have to find a way now for the media houses, and people like yourself, amongst many others, to now hold the government accountable, especially in light of the juvenile representation that was made by my colleagues in the opposition. If we have an opposition like that, I will tell you, my friend, that we have a long, long way to go. We have a lot to do to ensure that we build this nation and ensure that we hold the government accountable. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of the media personnel out there who would have done their work and done their due diligence to ensure that we are not shortchanged not in opposition, not in government, and in every capacity. Lastly, Critic, we are on the year. Actually, it was 2 days ago since elections. It would have been tonight. I don't know if you recall this. It would have been 5 o'clock this afternoon that you would have picked me up at the hotel when we went over to Ashman's building, and you say, Shuman, let's go over there, bye. We got to check this out. I don't know if you recall this.
Yes.
When we went in there, that was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and that is when the whole...
We had to walk through barricades to get in.
Right, when the whole fiasco started, they wouldn't let me in because whatever, but then I said I'm a candidate, and then we went through this arduous, tiring, exhausting, abusive situation at the Guyanese Elections Commission. It was 1 year to date. I look back at that, and I made a short live video earlier where I toasted to the country's 1 year anniversary of having to defend democracy in Guyana. But it was 1 year to date when we saw all of those things unfolding. And had we not been there, along with our international partners, imagine, and I ask all of your viewers and listeners to imagine where this country would have been. We would not have been here today. We would have been in the likes of North Korea. You're afraid to even say anything. You're afraid to even walk out of your house. You cannot spend $1 because you're not earning $1. You're earning 50 cents and expected to spend $10. You would have gone into that dictator state. And we fought to ensure that that never happened. And I will continue to fight to my very last day and last breath in this country to ensure that no Guyanese will ever have to go through that again.
I am thankful to know that we have experienced that together, Shuman, and we share the same sentiments about fighting to our last breath. Thank you again, brother. Take care now.
Thank you, Critic. Have a good night.
So that is Lennox Shuman, was Lennox Shuman, on the line, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, one of our indigenous brothers, and somebody who has shown that he has what it takes to uplift the indigenous people who have been for too long left behind. You guys know I go across this country. I have been to a number of indigenous communities. I have seen the plight of the people, and I continue to go and come and make recommendations as to how these communities and their people can be uplifted. And a lot of times it's not much they ask for, but I am glad to know that Lennox Shuman is now in a position to make representation or proper representation for the indigenous people of Guyana. For too long, they've been left behind. So we move on with the people's business. What else did we have to talk about today? We spoke about these people. Did I tell you that I spoke to the opposition leader? And he what was this video about? What is this video about? This is the opposition. This is the opposition's behavior before the Speaker of the House run the move. This is the opposition member of Parliament's behavior before the Speaker run the vote. And today, the government has passed, Parliament, as a matter of fact, has passed a budget for $383 odd billion. That says that Guyanese have something to look forward to. Guyanese can look forward to getting 15,000. Not only getting back the 10,000 that were taken away from them from the previous by the previous administration, but they can look forward to be getting 50% more, 15,000 per child per year. That is assistance. That is under the Ministry of Education. right? Guyanese could look forward to a lot of things. I was sent a video recently, and I must apologize for not posting it in a timely fashion. Just would not post it because I see it on the opposition page. But I think I should when I find back the video. I was sent a video where a girl recorded some bit of controversy with the money sharing. I'm hoping the 25,000 COVID-19 cash grant, and I'm hoping the auditors will be able to keep these people in check. I'm hoping the government does all within its capacity to ensure people get their cash grant and that the money is distributed wisely, right? People gotta get their money, right? And again, remember the government 25,000 cash grant is not a PPP cash grant. It is not a PNC cash grant. It's not an AFC cash grant. It's not an Indian cash grant. It's not a black cash grant. It's not a Mahaica cash grant. It's not a Barbie. It is a Guyanese cash grant. Every Guyanese household, and they started to roll out with the people who owned houses and consider that to be a household because NDCs would be fully well aware how many homes or houses were in a community. And then they're going to be moving on to the individuals who would have been living in those homes independent of the homeowner. Those are people who rent and extended families who live in one house. You might get a mother, she got a house and so with her husband, but she got two daughters, both of them got husband and children, all them living in one house. Right? So that is how the government's cash grant is rolling out. And every Guyanese, whether you're Indian, you're black, you're Amerindian, you're Chinese, you're rich, you're poor, every Guyanese household is entitled to that cash grant, right? It's a COVID-19 cash grant because every Guyanese, every walk of life has been affected in some way, right? So let's look at that. So again, the opposition leader spoke to me today and he told me about his concerns. And he said his people say I'm calling them low life and hungry belly. I told him that this is a term I use for quite some time and has nothing to do with your people. It has to do with a people's attitude. You understand? Same attitude you see like in Parliament today. The same attitude you see with the protesters on the road in the day. Today I go up, stand up outside Chica. They call me auntie man, they call me all kind. Who is these people? Vulgar? No, they ain't vulgar. They look like a hungry belly. You understand? If you protest, you just do what you gotta do. You see me, you calculated. When I see critic and give you all the coverage we need. So don't worry, critic. Once you get the camera, people go hear we plight. You understand? But this is the only people they could get. I don't know if they're gonna find these people in the gutter and pick them up and bring them for the thing. But you can't get civilized people. So what I have to do low is state every time because low life and hungry belly is going to be around forever. It's not going anywhere. Just like the people who I refer to as low life and hungry belly, they ain't going away. They could change their attitude, and I wouldn't have to call them that. So I will let people be aware every time I use the term in favor of the fact that the opposition leader brought it to my attention. That somehow his people are misguided into believing that I am referring specifically to them. No, they're low-life hungry belly Indians, blacks, Portuguese, Chinese, European. Yes, ExxonMobil might be expressing a bit of low-life hungry belly behavior when they would have signed a contract with the government knowing that this is bullshit. What are you going to say? Oh, they're tricksters? No, low-life hungry belly behavior. Right? So, I heard on Gavin Matthews live, he was saying that he doesn't even qualified to talk to the opposition leader. I'm qualified to talk to the president, the prime minister, and the vice president. I'm more than and I wouldn't say qualified. I am not your professional. What I know, I'm far smarter than most of you professionals. Right? So let's not go down there, Gavin. And Gavin is actually, I thought Gavin was just short and ugly. But he's tall. He's a tall guy. So, short and handsome, I meant. Yes, very handsome guy. Critic the truth hurts. The low lives and well, their ratio. If the cap fit, let and dry it. Yeah. So, I think we've covered everything. And I got some more revealing things. What is this? Video cannot be played. Let me run my WhatsApp messages to see what's going on. Sir, in some countries, when government officials get caught doing wrong, they commit suicide. That would be Japan. Japan are people very. I do not know what some people are waiting for in Guyana. Nah, man, not them this. Low life and hungry belly nigga shame. Suicide, them nothing but suicidal. Ain't nothing like suicidal. We, the family of little Ezekiel Harris, is pleading with the general public for help. Who's Ezekiel Harris? Oh my God, what happened to this child? Ezekiel Harris. Yeah, doing interview. Critic, in my book, if credit run out, that is low life. Well, alright. If you all say low life because my credit run out, well, who more low life? If you all watching me, ain't send no credit for me. Well, it's a set low life for hungry belly the way. One of them send me a message here. She gets abused now. Let me read she message. Critic in my book. If credit run out, that is low life. Now you know is donation is there for. You send no credit for me, but you expect to watch me data for run and everything going on. And me is the low life. Well, Halloween is low life over here. It's low life behavior. Yes, eh? Because it's just Saturday, today's what? Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, 7 days already. Actually, um, it's only Saturday put in $30,000 credit. But remember, sometimes like how I tell the I start in lang with the people overseas and all them thing now. I call everybody and talk to everybody. You understand? So, all we get a little low life in me. Yeah, I would think as if a girl asks me for credit, I tell she's low life. But I want to know you low life too. Because you go critic, you coming on when you go, when I come in. Eh? When I come in. You want to know when I come in? No. And here, no, man. Remember, if low life and hungry belly is an attitude, that doesn't mean that the people low life and hungry belly all the time. Yes, sir. So let me read some of the comment. That means if everybody owe rent, cannot pay bill, or cannot buy food, them, well, something like that. That's what she's trying to say that. No worry, she's joking. She's joking. She's lucky, I know she's joking. I'm going to call her name. I said she got to send credit for she hostage. Hey, so guys, um, what do you think about calling it a night? Or if there's anybody wants to call in and you have something to say? I can't even call nobody now too, right? Qualification and intelligence are two different things. Education is one thing and intelligence is another. Well, check your voice note.
Dick, I made a comment on a post today that was relating to the budget debates, and I said that the opposition's budget debates, the budget debate speeches, were not up to par.
Yeah, my brother. Good night. Talk to me.
Hey, good night, brother. Hey, you got to stop the nonsense, right? Hey, what you gotta do? You got to come up with a low life and hungry belly tutorial class. You see me? So that people understand what low life and hungry belly means.
I'll do a short video. I'll make it compact. I'll make it compact, and I will show. I will do. I'll put in some small video. I can do a nice. Yes, I can do a nice ad and run it on TV and so.
Yeah, so that you can educate, educational campaigns and everything that.
Low life hungry belly tutorial.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do, man. So if they have script, they will know what exactly the size is.
Roger, brother.
You don't know.
Will do, cuz. There's a black brother and he understand it.
And they had more work to do. And so many people attacked me for saying that. And that's when I realized that there's so many people being misled. So many people cannot recognize.
Let me play this when it starts.
Guyanese Critic. I made a comment on a post today that was relating to the budget debates, and I said that the opposition's budget debates, the budget debate speeches, were not up to par. They lacked substance, and they had more work to do.
This is a matter of fact.
So many people attacked me for saying that, and that's when I realized that there's so many people being misled. So many people cannot recognize that this opposition is weak. And really and truly, if the PPP wanted to do anything that they're not supposed to do, they're going to get away with it scot-free because these people don't want to get their act together and basically do what's right for the country and specifically their constituents that voted for them. And it is really sad, but I don't know where we go from here. Bottom line, we really need a strong opposition, and this is absolute bullshit.
Bottom line, my brother, the people have to be more vigilant and take care of this. The people have to now take up a position and look at the government. Because there's no opposition representation. You understand? There's no opposition representation. I'm planning to very soon have a sit. I don't know how to have a productive, to say, interview with the opposition leader. Me and the opposition leader, it would. I have to make a special effort, and I think I should have a list of things that I would ask the opposition leader and just left it as that. Because obviously the opposition leader ain't gonna name with me kind of program. Yes, remember it's fast. The opposition leader is I can even help you with a list of things. Dana says she know. No, I gotta interview him. I have to interview the opposition leader. We talk from time to time. I can tell you, from recent, after I did the interview, we talked today, he talked to me, he tell me about the low life of rebellion thing. And I told him it's not a people, it is an attitude. It so happens that more of his people, a lot of his people, and people close to him and parliamentarians are expressing his low life of rebellion behavior. So, yes, what you was called? A man lie down, a parliamentarian lie down, open the belt, and lie down somebody ground. This was the lie down in behavior, that's low life of rebellion behavior. Yes, sir. Now this one Gavin Matthews recording me today, videoing me. He doing a live. So he don't know if I qualify to talk to the opposition leader. The opposition leader has so much people following me like I got following me. You understand? So he, why for Kali? Louis say he vexed that I Kali ugly. A lie? Eh? Louis say he's stupid. Is that true? It's not me say I need something like call a laptop. If you know something called a laptop. Eh? You're just a hustler, brother. You're a hustler. Yes, sir. Yeah, right? And it's not no hard feelings, Gavin. Ask me a Matley. She said the truth hurts.
I'm enjoying your discussion.
Bro, I was just joking with you. I know that, man. Oh, God, you don't have to answer to that. Who you think is PNC opposition MPs all up in the feelings? Not me. You could talk cheese. You could talk cheese, you could charge it cheese sticks. You could talk cheese straws. I don't care. I look like the kind of banner what is feeling or going around care how people feeling. No, no, not me. I don't know. That one day, any feeling that one is somebody got come straight. Somebody got get straight to the point. You understand? I got shared fuse. Why you believe I create? Normally, you would have to have a whole paragraph. Poems were made and things to explain, to express love, to express anger. People sit down talking to children. Right? I look at this thing. I say, Guyanese, talking, 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 talking. Boy, your behavior is unbecoming. Why are you behaving like this? Why you can't change your life? Me, and nobody here, nobody pay attention. Nobody don't listen to the mother. Husband don't listen to wife don't listen to husband. I come now. And all I say, you is a low life, hungry belly. And right away they hear and understand. And it upset the stomach like they got gas indigestion. By the time I tell them low life, hungry belly, everybody looking for dull collapse. You understand? One more than the human. You realize I'm a genius? Everybody before I come up with the word low life hungry. Please, use a T for it. You sure? You never catch me. You never see me. And everybody got a whole different views. Now watch them. I say, you know something? You gotta get 2 words for address this issue. The word all a long story. 2 words for address the issue. Low life hungry belly. Now you imagine the start. You imagine the parliamentary debates of it. The opposition leaders see me. Today he was protesting for something God and heaven knows why I go for cover the story. And all the hit mind is a low life hungry belly thing. Oh, yeah. Somebody says a derogatory term, very much so, and factual. Derogatory things can be factual. Uh-huh. How is the weather up there? It was very interesting listening to Mr. Schumann tonight. Thank you. Cricket? Shall you always some shit? I look like cricket. Dry cold tempting. Oops, I meant critic. You know you always get yourself in some shit. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Oops. Hey, so if there's no further business for me to take care of, I will take my leave. I will thank you for congratulations to Kevin Sinclair for what me. I am not cricket. Me I like that shit. I try to cricket. Cricket is like cricket. West Indies cricket is like, and people want to know why people just follow the PNC blindly. The West Indies lose their life, limb, and everything, and the people still follow them and believe in it. Now, I me can't follow, don't lose it like that. Growing up, and I hear the problems with the with cricket, I can't get why fall in a game like that. Why fall in a team would lose more than anything else? So, but yeah, enjoy. I ain't telling you to stop thinking cricket, right? Enjoy cricket, but Nami, me following no loser. Here, I think I'm gonna do some work. The coffee get me hyper right now. My like calm me insult her or something. The man let me get a laugh. Nobody even calling. People stop calling. You believe all these intellectuals and so on in this country, these professionals and these black people? Somebody must be able to call and embarrass me and insult me. Hmm? You imagine You tried 1,000 times yet I undefeated. My WhatsApp number is 622-7740. All right, Shelly, you might deserving a black. Not for weight tag that just now. But you just tag too much. Just come out and say you want, you're looking for somebody for marriage. Because I can't imagine you the wrong age. You understand? And you know what's your program. You're looking for somebody for marriage, love is in the air. Eh? Shall you come attack or tell your story out there? Any update on Harris investigation? No. When I go back to Barbies, I will be this weekend I'll be in Essequibo. So when I go back to Barbies, I will talk. I did talk to the family when I was coming down, but they were the ones at the speculation. I tell them get facts. Who you want attack and who no want attack. No, you can't black shift with her. She like tack, man. I watching Shalane. She just like tack. She like the hyper, they in the group. Sometimes we got something going on and she got a total irrelevant conversation. She just there. She just glad to be around. Yeah, you could see she lonely. She glad to be around. You know? She's get all excited when the program come out. All the boys and the girls and the worlds. Let me check shield. Yeah. No, this is Shelly Singh. I got so much of Shelly. Next thing we end up with Shelly Belly. I can't make up these things. Here, like me wait for I get myself a problem, but if Shelly she was born, I said, you was born come as that cost me tomorrow. Yeah, I'll take you. I love you. I drink this coffee and get hype and now I feel it cost somebody. You can do it, boy. Let me see Shelly face, man. Let me see your profile. Yeah. Yeah, she look like the girl was tag name of the Jandy. She like the attention in the middle of thing, in the thick of things. And get blamed for what she didn't do. She look like the kind of girl was get blamed for what she didn't do. Cause she always in the thick of things, right? So when you catch yourself, they say, no, Shelly care the news. They say Shelly totally clueless. And it's just because she fronting, yeah, isn't it? And by she face Brad, there's notice she. There's notice she all over. Right? You pass somebody, if you think it, like, you don't notice it. But Shelly now, there's notice she. It's like, when you're looking at Shelly, it's like somebody raise up a pot converser. She face Brad like this. She like the fun, So she must get blamed for things she always fronting. She never stay in a car and stay quiet. Yeah. Yeah, pass. Who opened the pot? Shelly, is you? I thought somebody opened the pot. Now she gotta get Robin tonight. Cause she calling me crooked. Right? So, I want to do some work. Me like your name. Me like your name. I can't miss your face. I just went and checked your profile. Eh. Mr. Critic, keep up the good work, bye. Mr. Critic, which part of Essequibo you will be? I will be all over Essequibo. The Senate, where I want to know where you can be. I tell you the Essequibo. You can't make up in the Essequibo coast. Where part I can be. Next time I roll up a set of waiting for me to put a trust in me. The shameless ideas is that one. Me? She will be your night nurse. Night nurse? Jandy. Handsome red man, do Maria Maria. Pretty go sleep so I can sleep. I said, well, keep your head up. Continue to be the respectable person you are. Me? Don't try for whoever Sabrina, whoever may know your name. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nah, here. I'm honest, a decent, you understand? And I got my heart in the right place. But don't try to label me as no respectable person. That out. I ain't nowhere close to be respectable. Hello, by
Hi, good night,
world
Mr.
standards.
Critic.
Good night, my brother.
Yeah, what I was asking about is that if you could get your hands on the video of the parliament where they say Mr. Kwame did not assault the woman or something of that sort. If you could get your hands on that video, is it possible?
No. There were. I don't think they have video footage of that. There's not video footage of the assault, and there's not video footage that the assault did not occur. But I am working on it. I'm gonna try to get it. And the honest truth is here, it's in there. Just like when Priyaman in Chandy Hallow, she get coffee in she belly and there was never a video. And Neil Marks Hallow, he got the video. Here I tell you, the fastest thing for Prime Minister come out, everybody come out and talk that this thing ain't happen. And you got a video and you don't bring it yet? No madness. You understand? So they would have done bring it out. Me would be the first body forgot them for destroy them. Yes, and me when I go look for that, people would have find me and give me the. So there is no video. Don't really waste time with it.
Okay, good. There's one. Number two is that if there was a video, if it was speculation, I said if. Now, when somebody gave a written statement, a signed written statement to the police, and it's a lie, can you be charged for that?
Yes.
Asking, I don't know. You should know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So most likely, statement was given all over.
I would think if they said the police are investigating, the police are going to reach out to the MP and reach out to the Prime Minister, the Minister McCoy, and they're going to take statements from them. But as I told you, what adds up to assault? You got to remember, these people, the opposition parliamentarians, have failed in government and now they fail in opposition, right? So they're looking for whatever little attention they can get. And funny enough, they're not stupid. The people who follow them blindly are stupid. They're dumb motherfuckers. Because I can tell you, playing stupid is actually a very smart game. You understand?
Yeah.
Playing stupid. Listen to me, a regular man can't play stupid.
It's true.
It's a hard thing for play stupid. So when you watch the opposition action, really the worry is the people who follow them blindly. And now there's a very small amount of people. If you look at them doing their protests on who they get, when you guys go down in the slums, forget people from the ghetto for come and protest for you, cuss up and be bad. Yes, these people don't share no sentiments. If you look at the people who protested, you can talk to two of them and they're coherent. They got any facts? Well, here, this is how I am affected. You understand? This is why I am saying this. This is why I'm here. When you talk, hey, this anti-man, they're hollering.
Yeah.
You understand? It's like you just pick up people from the fish market and know they're going to make nice.
For you to highlight also, Mr. Critic, is that remember the behavior in Parliament is that we don't see that. If you look at the clips mostly from the Parliament that the Parliament produces, you don't see how members behave in really. You don't really see that. right? Because of Parliament trying to put that everybody's decent and everybody's this. Why can't the Parliament produce these people when it question, when it surely could, who doing these kind of things? Because most obviously it's from both sides.
Yes.
Because when one talks something, the next one can answer.
Yeah.
So we need to see
let me tell you, they got a set of agitators, right? They got a set of agitators in Parliament, and I tell them with both sides.
Okay.
Them banning easy. They got a line of them. Here. All the opposition MPs. All the opposition. No, not all of them. Not all of them. Here, 75% of the opposition MPs, I'm getting names to you, and about 25% of the PPP MPs, the government MPs. You understand? Yeah, the serious agitators. Don't get confused with them and get names for you. Don't get confused with them. Them is some good upstart. You understand? Instigators, yes. Good instigators. They're not easy. This program and this throat thing and that thing at you understand? I'm telling you, they're not easy. So, you know, and what is considered to be an assault is just a touch.
Next question. Today I was trying to call some news entity in Guyana to let some, maybe a one report or two reporters, depends from different news, to fact check these people who are standing up and lying in our parliament, which is perfectly fine according to what going on.
What names are the media know about that? Fact
Well, you see, that's the next thing.
Fact check? The media in Guyana? If the leading thing Nazima Ragabir is Ragabir, what's your name, man? The girl with the press thing association. Go and stand up and tell the president, fact check. They stand up and they start dry line in front of everybody. And she leading the press association. So you could imagine is what you're dealing with. Fact check. I like me, because of the mistakes I've made in the past, the only things I talk about is what I see and know myself personally. Why I believe I always have videos and things that I refer to. You understand?
Yeah, but we didn't see the video this afternoon. We didn't post up any video this afternoon.
Of what?
Concerning the protests and so what they had.
Oh no! By the time I reached there, they were finished.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just talked to the opposition leader and I left. And as I said, he brought
for you get an interview with that guy, you really get a lot to tolerate a lot of things. You really have to learn.
No. That's the problem. That is the problem. I will say, well, this and this is the questions that I will ask, and that is it. We have a serious. I don't know if he has the ability. No, I don't want. Listen to me. From my vantage point, I could start out the opposition leader. From my vantage point, I am obviously more influential than the opposition leader. So we end up on no par. Don't confuse me with media. I know reporter by. Yes, if they want holder as some badge of honor where they got this up, I obviously they're in a whole different bracket from there. The man is the opposition leader and it stands and is so put in his political realm. But when it comes to influence in this country and who is more visible and seen, he in there no way in me category. So we therefore we own goals then, right? But in interviewing the opposition leader, remember the objective is for the Guyanese people to have an understanding of what kind of representation they have. And I'm saying, you know, the opposition, I may want not going in knowing who is he and who is me. Meanwhile, we get no stupid talk. We have to have serious conversation.
Exactly.
You understand? Exactly. So, we talk, bro.
Yeah, you take care, man. Thank you.
So, guys, why do you think Saudi Arabia has killed these left wing? You don't understand what you're talking about. In the meantime, I'm not killing it. Why do you think Saudi Arabia is kill these left wing? Nirmala, find out from Tamili what. Let him give you an explanation what he's talking about. If he doesn't have a plausible explanation for what he's saying there, block him. immediately. So you guys take care. Let me see what the WhatsApp message is saying. My video clip on the next 40 years with the opposition power. Make a video clip. Okay, make a video clip. Okay. Let me make it. So let me see what's going on here. What is this? Somebody send some police. So guys, you guys take care. Go and sleep tight.